Hello, how are you? Welcome back to Rochelle's cooking channel. Now, I am cooking just well, it's not really basic because I don't do things basic, but I'm making baked chicken. But in my baked chicken, I'm going to show you the ingredients and then I'm going to mix them together. And I'm not going to cook the baked chicken today, but I am going to cook it for Sunday morning. So I'll come back on Sunday morning after I season it and refrigerate it to today, and then let you see what I've done on Sunday with the baked chicken and also the other parts of the meal that I'm going to be cooking. Okay, so in this baked chicken, there's quite a bit of things in this. This is the spices that I'm going to be using along with some other things. But these spices are parsley flakes, paprika, black pepper, sazon, garlic powder, complete seasoning, Maggi, another all-purpose sazon, some chicken seasoning, some onion powder, and some adobo. In here, I have minced garlic and garlic paste, and ginger paste and minced ginger and some garlic paste. Here I have garlic. I have yellow peppers, onions, scallion. I'm going to add a little bit of, these were whole pimentos, but I had them ground. I ground them up, so it looks like that. So I'll put a little bit of that in there. I have some thyme. I dry my thyme. I guess you guys have seen me with my thyme. I always have thyme. I have thyme in my garden. So I dry it out and then I grind it down. I have a spice grinder. I'm also going to add a little bit of this Scotch bonnet, which is something I found when I went to Florida. I had seen it before. Someone that I follow on YouTube was using this, and I was like, where can I get that at? And so I went to a couple of places here in Georgia and I couldn't find it. I went to Florida to my favorite meat market and they had it. So I bought tons of it. So I'm going to be using that. Normally I probably would use a fresh Scotch bonnet, but the peppers haven't been hot. And I like a little spice. I like a little kick to my food. So we're going to start off with putting in the yellow peppers. And I sliced the onion really thin. This is a half of a large onion. Half of a large onion. I have some scallions that I'm going to put in there. I have some garlic that I minced. That's fresh garlic. Here is my ginger paste and garlic paste. I'm going to start off with a little bit of the thyme. That was probably a half a teaspoon. And then I'm going to add, so I can have some Caribbean flair to it, a little bit of ground up pimento. Once again, I'm only going to use about a half a teaspoon of that because these are really strong spices. And then all of the spices that I mentioned over here are all in here, like a teaspoon each. I may not use all of this, but I'm going to try. I want to see how it... That's a good amount. That was 3 teaspoons. So, and I don't use salt because some of these things have sodium already in it. And I'm cooking chicken legs and chicken wings. Chicken wings. They're really nice sized wings too. I was impressed. Because these days, it's hard to find decent sized wings. So I was glad that I was able to find them. Now the sazon is going to give this chicken a really nice color. And so I'm just going to mix it up really good. And then I'm going to pan this, and then I'm going to cover it with aluminum foil. And this is Friday evening, and I don't want this meat until Sunday, but I always prepare the meat that I'm going to cook on Sunday in advance so I can season it and let it just marinate. I think I'm going to use a little bit more of this. And so I like my seasoning to set for a day or two before I actually cook my meat. Take that seasoning, everything to soak in really well. This is going to be some really flavorful chicken here. Now you can use whatever spices that you really like. These are the spices that I really like. And when I bake my chicken, this is what I use. Now, you don't have to use all of these different spices. This is just my preference. And when you cook, you do what makes you happy and your family happy. And so, try to get the seasoning really in there really good. Now, I don't recommend that you do this, but this is what I do. I need to taste my seasoning to make it sure it's on point. So, this is nothing but seasoning. And I like to taste it. That's just what I do. I don't recommend you doing it because you are messing with raw chicken. But I'm not tasting the chicken. I'm tasting the spice. And I'm going to tell you something. It is on point. It's so on point. It's amazing how on point this is. You know, I really want to use all of it because it's so good. But I am going to use a little bit more. It's not heavy in sodium. So this is not overly salted or anything like that. It's just really flavorful. And that's it. That's how I prepare my chicken. Now, when I wash this chicken, and I should have told you this from the beginning, I normally wash it, let it soak first, and I cut up 2 lemons and squeeze it in there, and I let it soak for about 15 minutes in lemon and water. And then when I start cleaning my chicken, cleaning meaning make sure no feathers is on there, I also take the yellow kind of husk that's on the legs. I always take that off and make sure there's no feathers nowhere. And that's how and then once I do that, then I pour that water off, and then I add vinegar to my next water, and I let it set. So my chicken is always really nice and clean. From the lemon, between the lemon and the vinegar, really nice clean chicken. And it makes a difference because it'll accept flavors better when your chicken is clean. Okay, there you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this chicken to this pan. And I'm going to cover it with aluminum foil, and I'm just going to slide it in my fridge. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to add anything else to this when I go to bake it. Now you could add other things in here. You could put celery in here if you like to. Any kind of vegetable you want. If you want to add to this pan, you could. You can make this a complete meal. You can add potatoes to it if you want to. Sweet potatoes. You can add whatever you want to this. Make it yours. Do it your way. But I'm not going to add any of those. I am going to make jasmine rice. On Sunday, I'm going to steam some broccoli. I got some really nice fresh broccoli that I'm going to steam. And that's going to be my Sunday dinner. And then I don't suspect I'm going to have company on Sunday, but if I do have company, I have plenty enough to feed them. Now I am going to close off my wings like this. And then all these onions and stuff I'm going to lace on the top. And I don't know if you can see this anymore, but this is what I'm doing. Just going to add all my chicken in there. And Sunday morning, I'll take it out and let the chicken get room temperature, and then I'll put it in the oven. Or you can put it on the grill. You can do whatever you want to it at that point. Okay. I apologize, guys, with that noise. My husband is sitting right outside this door watching something on his phone. Now here's all the onions and the yellow peppers. I'm going to put all this stuff right on top and let it just flavor my chicken. Yeah, I get everything. I want it all in here. Okay, and so I'm going to put aluminum foil here. I'm going to slide this in my refrigerator and just let it set for a couple of days. And so I will see you back here on Sunday. Have a good day. Bye. Happy Sunday. I hope you had a wonderful time in church if you did choose to go today. I am back to finish off my Sunday dinner. Of course, you know I'm baking chicken. You watched me season it. And so now it's in my oven. I'm going to take you over to the stove and show you what else I'm cooking for today. And then I'll also take you to the oven so that you can actually see my chicken. So if you can just stand by for a second, I'll take you over to the stove. You can see what I'm doing. Okay, guys, here's the chicken. So I will tell you that I did add a little curry powder to it, freshen up, put a little more chicken seasoning in there and some black pepper before I mixed it up really good and before I put it in the oven. So it's coming along well. I'm going to drain off some of that liquid, the drippings from that chicken, and I'm going to make a homemade gravy with it a little bit later. But I just wanted to show you the chicken. It looks really, really good. Okay, we're going to go to the stove and I'm going to show you what I'm going to be doing. I'm actually getting ready to make my mom's favorite. My mom is no longer with me, but she spoiled my husband when she was alive, and she would make sauteed spinach. And so I'm going to put a little avocado oil in there in this pan like such. Not going to use a lot, but just enough to coat just the bottom of the pan. I have, let me get my cutting board. I have an onion and a tomato and some green onions, and I always chop my green onions up. I buy them in bulk, and then I cut them up to look like this, and I freeze them. And these are frozen. And so they freeze very, very well. And so here's my spinach. I have some garlic paste, and I have fresh spinach. I have one tomato, Roman tomato, that I'm going to put in there. And I have this half an onion. You see me use the other half when I was preparing the chicken. So I'm going to use that half today, and I'm going to saute some spinach. In that spinach, and this is what my mom did, and it really, really is good. I boiled some eggs this morning, and I'm going to chop some eggs up in there. So I don't know if you've ever had that. I got a little thyme, my dry thyme that I dry myself. And I'm going to cut these onions up really fine, as thin as I possibly can get them. So I'm going to cut these onions up fine, and I'm going to use this whole half of onion, and I'm going to use probably a half a cup of the always make sure when you're using a knife that safety first. It's always safety first. This knife is it's a Kuma, and it's very, very sharp. So I definitely want to make sure that I take care of my fingers. And so I'm going to also put this tomato in here. You know, I'm a fan of tomatoes. I have a garden that I'm growing so many tomatoes this year, and my garden is still quite young. But as soon as my garden is starting to really produce the vegetables that I've grown, then I'll take you out back and I'll show you my garden. Okay, so that's all I'm going to cut up for now. I'll cut up the eggs later, but I'm going to put this stove on. I'm going to start it off on high, but then I'll turn it down to low. See, I'm just using just enough just to coat just the bottom of the skillet. I'll also put a little butter in there once I have the spinach in there and sauteed well. So we'll put a little bit of butter in there, not much, but just a little bit of butter. Okay. I'm thinking it's getting warm, but I want to make sure it's nice and warm before I actually, and I'll use a little garlic paste. It's actually minced garlic, so I'm going to use that. This is one of my favorite minced garlics. I have the tub of minced garlic as well, and I have a ton of fresh garlic. I'm actually growing garlic too. So you'll see me harvest that, and I'm growing onions and green onions as well. These I didn't grow. It was not seasoned, and I seen some really nice green onions, so I bought quite a bit of it. Had a whole bag full, and I chopped them up and froze them. And you guys, make sure that you use your freezer, because even with tomatoes, you know, tomatoes is one of those vegetables you buy, you know, quite a bit of because you love tomatoes, and then you don't use them and they go bad and you throw them away. Not me. Before I let my tomatoes go bad, I will put them in a bag and freeze them whole. I freeze them whole, and when I'm making stews, soups, or anything like that, and it calls for tomatoes, and I can use them in that. Doesn't hurt. I can use them in that. Let me go ahead and put these tomatoes in at the same time so they can start sauteing. Tomatoes always make a really nice sauce in your food. And when you're cooking certain types of foods, you want like chicken and rice. I'm going to make some jasmine rice. You'll see me put the jasmine rice, but you guys have seen me cook jasmine rice before. But I'm going to put that on there. I have a little bit of the seasoning that I use in the chicken left over, and so I'm going to use just a little teaspoon of that. This is the seasoning that I use in the chicken, and I didn't use it all, remember? I didn't use it all, so I figured I'd use a little bit in here. And that's all you need. You don't need a lot of seasoning. This is a nice fresh vegetable, and I really want the taste of the spinach. I'm going to put a little bit of thyme in here. This is my fresh thyme that I grind up after I dry it. Just a little bit. This is a teaspoon, so I'm not using a lot. You know, just a little. And I'm going to put a little bit of garlic in here. I love garlic, so I'm always heavy-handed when it comes to garlic. And if I had some if I had some shallot, which I am growing some shallots, if I had some fresh shallots, I would have used that instead of the onion. But onions are good. Either one is fine. It's both in the onion family, so. Shallots is just a little bit more milder. And let me add in, take this cutting board. Well, I'm going to leave that cutting board there because I'm going to need it for my eggs. I'm only going to use about a handful. A little bit more. And let me throw this back in the freezer because I ain't gonna want them to thaw out. While I was in the freezer, I wanted to show you also, I buy big bags of carrots, and I also cut them up. And carrots, just like celery, it freezes very well, and you can use this later on. Carrots is one of those vegetables also, before you know it, it's in your refrigerator, it's gone bad. So protect your investments. Foods are investments these days. Trust me, because everything, and you guys know the price, and I'm going to turn this down on medium now. Everything has gotten so expensive. So you want to protect what you buy and make sure that your family is able to enjoy it. Now here's my spinach. I'm going to go ahead and start adding my spinach. Now I went on and cleaned this, and I'm also growing spinach. This is not the spinach I grew. I bought this, but I'm growing spinach as well, but it's still early. And I'm going to be adding the spinach, and as it wilts, and this was freshly washed. I know that on these bags of spinaches, it tells you it's already been washed and cleaned and ready to eat. Not this girl. I don't care what it says. I'm going to wash my spinach to make sure there's no sand in my food or bugs in my food. Even though they would probably be dead, I don't want them in there. And so yes, I still wash my veggies, even though it tells you you don't have to, because it's already washed and ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to continue to wilt this spinach down, and then I'm going to come back once it's wilted down and I'm ready to start putting in my eggs. I'll be back. Okay guys, I'm back. I'm going to have to change my battery because I think my battery is about to die. But I wanted to show you what it looked like so far, and I've put in a half a stick of butter, and then I'm going to, this is probably about 7 eggs. I really didn't count. I didn't use them all. I'm going to add that in here. And that's pretty much my spinach with egg. And my husband absolutely loves this. My mother started him eating this years ago. And anytime I make spinach, this is how he wants me to cook it. Unless I'm cooking spinach in something. I also started my rice. I got 6 cups of jasmine rice in here. Some avocado oil and the other half of that stick of butter. And we're going to let the rice do its thing. And then once I'm all done, we'll come back and we'll show you the outcome of my meal. I'm going to take the chicken drippings off so I can make a gravy, and then brown my chicken, and then I'll be all done. I should be done within the next, excuse me, in the next 30-40 minutes. My Sunday dinner will be done. All right, we'll see you in shortly. Bye-bye. Hi guys, I'm back and my dinner is all done. So I wanted to come back and show you. I'm going to go ahead and plate something up. My chicken is done. It is fantabulous. I did make a pan of cornbread. I have over here, I have some jasmine rice that's completed. I did take the drippings, as I said before, and made a little gravy. And then my spinach and egg is all done. So I'm going to go ahead and plate up a dish just so you can see how it looks. Let me get a few pieces of chicken first. Get a wing. Let me tell you something. And I didn't tell you, but off camera, I did add a little bit of curry powder in here just to kind of juice it up a little bit. And I'll add a leg to that. We'll come over here and we'll put a little rice on the plate. I don't know who's going to eat this, but I have someone to eat this. So I do have guests. And I put a little gravy on here. Oh, this gravy is so good. Just put it right. And this is homemade gravy, guys. I use the drippings. A little of the chicken. And for the star of the show, besides the chicken, this is the favorite. This is my husband's favorite. And it is very, very good. It's just a new way of making spinach. And I'm all done. Let me show the plate. The only thing is missing is I'm going to add a piece of cornbread to this. But this is a really nice dinner. It didn't take me long because I prepped my meat 2 days ago on Friday. You guys seen me do that. And all I had to make today was the spinach, the cornbread, the rice, and a little bit of gravy. It took me about, say, maybe another hour to complete it. And so I have people here that's getting ready to enjoy this. I have guests, so I'm going to have to bid my farewell so I can go ahead and entertain now. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel, like this channel, make a comment. If you decide to follow my recipe, tell me how you thought about it. Tell me if this chicken ain't the bomb, because it is. So, and the spinach. So if you've never had spinach this way, I highly recommend it. It is better than what you even could imagine. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Peace out.